Hey, what's up? Lewis just mentioned that it's perfectly day 2. Welcome to day 2, Slime Ranch. Looks like the ranch has been overtaken by a bunch of fucking rainbow pumpkins who will stop at nothing. I don't know how this has happened, actually, but it's bad.
Have
you see my kiting
have they
skills?
eaten all of your slimes that you spent the entirety of last episode collecting?
I'm not sure how we actually get rid of these fuckers. Those awful ravenous rainbows. Look, you can't do... Whoa!
What?
He attacked me.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure either.
Okay, let's just abandon the ranch from now on, and we'll go out into the wilderness, away from these things. So last time, what were we talking about? You were writing a book. Is that right? You were mad because I tried to write a book and my teacher wouldn't let me because
No, I was talking about...
she knew it was going to be so great and didn't want to have like a star pupil in her class because she never became a really good writer when she was a kid. And her big sort of thing was to become a pro writer off the back of being a teacher. So like she was one of those teachers where you'd hand something in, she'd be like, "That's really good, but check this out." And it's like Harry Potter. You're like, "Fuck, I can't write Harry Potter." And then she laughs at you. So she's like one of those.
Well, the first thing I'll say about that is that teachers and university lecturers love to write books to get their students to buy, right?
Yeah,
a lot of my lecturers at university had written their own textbooks, which is no small feat. Okay, I'm not. It's a hard work, and do you know what?
What?
Well, they basically sell them to the students for like 60 quid each or something. It's something inordinate price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the price is like. I don't know whether this is like today, but I'm very sure it is. But do you know what? If they could sell like 60 of them for 60 quid, you know.
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
Good luck to them. Yeah. If that's all they think that they're worth is 60 quid, well, fine. I mean, I'm going to raise my kids to make them sure that they're worth at least 65, maybe 70.
I think that the old classic thing, it's a horrible thing to say, but if you can't do, then teach, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't think you're good enough to actually do anything
things
like maths or science or whatever, then teach it instead. Now I think that's a bad precedent. Okay, I think that sets a bad example. I think that the people who I think unfortunately teachers are very undervalued in our society, and I think that teachers are not paid very well.
No,
and it's sad to think that the people who are not very good are the people who are teaching our next generation. You know, I think that's sad.
Oh.
It's not a great situation, but yeah. So books, though, definitely, I'm sure an English teacher, a bad English teacher, would love to fob off their lack of skills. Oh God, is that slime pen got just a load of poops in it?
No, it's apples for them to eat. Look,
oh, I see.
Look at them.
I thought it was like
they're
just
having
dirty,
slimy sex with each other and making poop. I don't know if they actually do the sex. I think they just poop a lot. It's like you're like a shit farmer. It's pretty sweet, eh? I mean, most farmers do farm shit, I guess, but
sometimes. Yeah, they collect it.
Sometimes
anyway.
they like to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can't just. I guess this is not that kind of game. This game has not really particularly got all the dirty bits of farming in it, has it?
No,
like
it really doesn't have like you having to put
stink.
your fist up a cow's asshole or anything like that.
No, it's much more gentle.
It's very
nice. Anywho,
yeah. So
I think sometimes I think you can find these teachers who have failed in life, okay, and have ended up in teaching because they couldn't get any other job, right?
Yeah.
And as a result, they are trying to like pawn off their work on students.
Yeah.
Almost a little bit like the student is a captive. Their students are a captive audience for their crappy whatever it is.
Yeah, I
right?
get the
I
got the feeling as well at school sometimes. You know, like
I'm not saying all of them. I think some I've got some friends who are teachers. They are fucking amazing. Yeah. And honestly, do you know what? Good for them choosing to be teachers. 'Cause I would not want to be a teacher.
No, me neither.
When every kid has a phone to film you and put you on the internet.
Oh, yeah, God. Hey, look at he didn't comb his
just...
mustache today. It goes viral, and then all of a sudden you can never get a date. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
That.
Mr. Brindley, mustache viral.
Mr. Brindley forgot to do his pants up and had his dick out all day. Gone viral. Yeah.
I mean, at least I can edit that stuff out,
Yeah.
on my videos.
On my
'Cause,
my
I do that
my
every day.
own YouTube channel. I look like a
notorious
god
for
on my own YouTube channel because I can edit all that stuff out. But I have no control over like another kid's YouTube channel. Where he might be putting up. Oh fuck! It's back.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there was that Scottish MP, wasn't there? So one of the Scottish MPs was elected recently, and she was quite young. I think she's in government at the moment, but she's quite young, and so she had a Twitter profile for the last couple of years, and obviously, being only young, like 20 or something now, or maybe in her 20s, some of her tweets were up there were kind of a bit inappropriate,
right.
like her drunken night out tweets and things like this, and so I think I worry in a way that I don't worry necessarily, but yeah, I guess I do that a lot of young people put stuff on social media or the internet for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that when you do stuff, you often need to do it with something in mind. Okay.
Right.
I.e., what is the value of what you're getting back from putting something out on the internet? Okay.
Yeah.
What is, like, if you have a Twitter feed where you just tweet out, pictures of or an Instagram where you just tweet out pictures of your lunch or whatever.
Well, what I do is I put my bathing suit on, stand in front of a mirror, and take pictures of myself mostly.
Right.
Because
why do you do that?
Because I think it's interesting. I think it makes me look interesting. I would like to see other people doing it as well. So like I'm trying to sort of like.
So it's like I'll show you mine and you show me yours.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Big time.
So you're doing it to kind of get reciprocal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're trying to encourage other
people. Trying to create a scene
right.
of people who like to show themselves off in their bathing
A little
suits.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, I'm lazy, so I don't always post pics of myself. But trust me, I'm looking at all of them.
What, all of other people?
Yeah.
Or... yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Man. Yeah, people do. People put the weirdest shit on Twitter. I mean, I can't really speak because I put some weird shit up on Twitter too. But actually,
but you have a reason to do so.
I don't really put
okay?
weird shit on Twitter, though, do I? My Twitter's not that weird.
But you understand there is a reason for you to do so because that we're in this industry and it helps to promote you and your brand and you as a whole, and that's
my brand.
thing. But I think,
yeah.
Well, it's funny. I don't know. I just worry a little bit
about your brand.
Well, it kind of feels like you can't. I think you have to be careful. Also, just don't do stupid stuff. I guess don't do stuff that will screw you over. What? I'm just thinking in terms of like future prime ministers. Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost like every future prime minister will have this skeleton in their closet of their old Facebook page with all their drunken nights out pictures of those, and their old. Do you know what I mean? And their old Twitter page with all their tweets that were slightly misinformed or just simply old. So, for example, 20, 30 years ago, people's attitudes were very different. People's ways of speaking were very different.
Yeah.
And that's why it's believed that some people like Rolf Harris and Jimmy Savile and these people got away with the naughty stuff that they did for so long because it was kind of less, giving a woman a slap on the arse or whatever, or was like less frowned upon back in the 70s. I don't know whether it was or not, but certainly it was a different time.
It was a different
it was a very different time.
I don't know if women have ever liked having their asses slapped necessarily.
No, but can you imagine if
Jimmy
Savile and Rolf Harris had Twitter feeds going back like 30 years?
Yeah, that'd be pretty weird, yeah. Rolf Harris was
pretty weird, wouldn't it?
A lot more surprising to me than Jimmy Savile was. I'll be honest. That was just weird, wasn't it? He's actually in jail now. Hey, dude's like 80 something, and he's in jail. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, good. If he's guilty, that's where he belongs. But it's still nuts to think.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's. I don't know. Maybe it's okay. Maybe everyone. Maybe sort of the attitude should be that everyone should do this because then, we can discover all their crimes.
Yeah.
Maybe you're creepy if you don't tell everyone what you're doing 24 hours a day. But it's kind of doing like the government's job for them as well.
People being on Twitter and just like telling their business all the time. Hey guys, just took it out.
Yeah.
Because well, yeah, I
That's
guess
right.
yeah. So the government can keep tabs on your like deviant behavior. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
But like people,
Would that be good?
well, yeah, okay, sure. I'll say yeah. Now what?
Oh, for God's sake!
Now what?
So do you? What do you mean now? What?
Well, what? I said yeah. So now, like, are you? Is that?
What do you think about privacy, Snowden, security? What do you think about the fact that basically everything that you look at through on the internet goes through a CIA tracking base, right, and gets stored in a massive data center in the middle of the desert, like 100 million quadrillion terabillion bytes,
Yeah.
right? And of everything you've ever done on the internet, it all gets stored.
What? All
on
my
a server.
videos and everything?
And everything you do, yeah,
Whoa.
every website you look at, every email you send, everything you do on the internet, all gets stored in a big database, and they can track that and link that to you. And you know, any time they want, okay, they can basically say, right, they can type in your name into the database, and be like, okay, these are the sites he visited. This is when he did them.
Yeah.
These are the search things he typed into Google. You know, like baby formula, nappies, like all the stuff you type in
Everything,
like, on a
yeah.
daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then,
to that,
what do you think about that?
I don't think much about it. I mean, I do have one thing to say about that, and that's that I never actually wore the rubber underpants. Okay, I just bought them for
Right.
research purposes, and I threw them away pretty much instantly.
Right.
But you know what I mean. I don't know if I care about that. I know people get really sort of uptight about that invasion of privacy, and they're watching everything you do and stuff like that. And the thing is, yeah, there's records of all that kind of stuff, all the stuff that you look at, all the stuff that you do. I mean, think about your average person. What are they doing on the internet? What are they looking at? Probably a bunch of dumb shit. Probably a bunch of gross shit as well. Like, you just don't really think about it until it's presented to you, sort of thing, right? Like, you know, like if somebody was trying to make a case against somebody for being like a wild fucking pervert or something like that. But I think it's good in the sense that if people are really fucking deranged and they're trying to figure out ways to like kill thousands of people at once and stuff like that, and they have some way of identifying these people and then stopping them, I think that's a pretty good thing. I don't think it's too bad. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I'm glad in a way that it happens, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I don't want them to do it to me, but I'm glad that they do it to other people. If I'm brutally honest.
Well, I think it's kind of it's the nothing to hide argument,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really, it's like,
Yeah.
well, look, if you've got nothing to hide, then you've got nothing to fear.
Yeah.
The whole thing about, you know, it's if you're a good guy, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
I didn't really want my wife to know about my
Edward Snowden
vast anime collection.
had a really good thing to say about.
Oh yeah.
Edward Snowden had a really good thing to say about this. He said, arguing that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of change, a lot of social change, a lot of major change in our country has happened through people breaking the law and through fringe and through people on the edges really getting out there. And, you know, we talked about this earlier in this same episode, but, you know, 20 years ago, the treatment of gay people was very, very different to how it is now.
It
And the
was.
attitude towards that.
It was a lot less accepted. It was seen as.
So you can't say.
But then you
that
have to.
we have the perfect society.
We don't,
right?
and we never will. But the thing is, you have to remember as well that a lot of this stuff is in context, right? Like, arguably 20, 30 years ago, I would say that religion sort of being intertwined with state was a lot more common and had a lot more sort of power and sway, whereas nowadays I don't think it does so much, because I think that there's been a lot of movement against that over the past like 10, 20 years, where it's like, you know, separate church from state, you know, don't make decisions based on religion or whatever. We have a society and a government. We need to make these. And I think that like a lot of a lot of the stuff that was sort of said about people who are gay and stuff like that a long time ago was off the back of religion as well, because I think still now I don't think religion accepts it at all, but I think now society and certainly government has accepted it a lot more, because there's a lot more rights, isn't there? Like, I mean, two men can get married now legally in a lot of places, whereas that never happened like 20, 30 years ago. And in fact, that would be outrageous 20 or 30 years ago, I think.
Yeah. So this guy said, Bruce Schneier said, if one could give me 6 lines written by the hand of the most honest man, I would find something in them to have him hanged. So
that's true too.
The fact that if you couldn't see if you were running for prime minister, that rubber set of pants, would be on the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah.
And they'd call you, rubber pants guy forevermore.
But the thing is, now that
ill-conceived thing you did when you were young will be held against you for the rest of your life.
But it'll never be as bad as it was for people 20 years ago or whatever, because the way that society works and the way that it has worked is, people become a lot more lax with things and become a lot more liberal about things, right? Like, things are just become more acceptable. Certain things, obviously not everything, but certain things become a lot more acceptable over time and stuff like that. And people in the future who are going to become politicians won't be judged on the same things that their predecessors were, like, at all. You know what I mean? Like, maybe when Reagan was running for president and somebody found out that he had an affair with a maid or something like that. Maybe 30 years ago that would have been like, oh fuck, no way, that's it, his whole candidacy is ruined. But maybe nowadays it'd be like, people like to have sex, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't think we're quite at that point yet, but I think that it shows that tolerances change over time. So,
oh yeah,
we're not always going to be judged for the same shit sort of thing.
No, I think that, do you know what about that? I think it's interesting too, because Reagan, you used an example, and he's one of these people who wasn't actually a career politician. I think a lot of our politicians these days are career politicians, i.e. they go to school, they study politics, they go to university, they study politics, and then they go and get a job as a politician. Yeah. It's a strange modern thing that didn't used to happen so much. Yeah. And I think there's probably arguments towards it being good, but I also think that it didn't used to be the norm. I mean, I think it has been the norm for about 50 years probably, but it's slowly be getting worse and worse. Originally, someone I read, again, I keep paraphrasing these half-assed phrases. I can't quite remember what people said, but there was someone who said something along the lines of, the best people to be politicians are those people who don't want to be politicians. Yeah. They, and I think when you used to have a political government that was built up of a group of experts, experts within the field, like doctors and lawyers and certain people who had training in other fields where they learned about specializations, they were much more capable of doing stuff than what we have, which are basically yes men. So what I guess what I'm trying to say is that when we elect our government, here in the UK, everyone goes and gets a party gets elected based on local constituencies, like areas. So I don't think Jersey is the same, but for example, the Bristol West, it'll be a lady from Bristol West. Who, maybe isn't from Bristol. Maybe she'll probably be a career politician. I think the majority of them will be, and her expertise will be politics. She won't have done any science training. No. She won't have done any training on anything at all, actually, apart from learning whatever politics is, which God knows what it is.
No, I don't even know what that. I don't know what that constitutes, because I think politicians are just really good at talking this whole and debating, aren't they? I don't think
is invalid. Yeah, maybe this entire argument is invalid, but I feel like, then we put these people in charge of healthcare or the school system or important things, and they kind of don't have any real knowledge or training in those specific areas. And sometimes we shift them around as well. One guy was a guy could be, or a lady could be the school secretary one year and in charge of the military state next year, or the treasury, you know. And it's I'm sure some of them do have some working knowledge, or else the whole thing would fall down. But I've always sort of, there was a time, okay, when people suggested an alternative form of government about 100 years ago, where it was a kind of scientific-based, sort of a technological-based government, where it would be done in everything would be done in a very, very scientific way. And so a lot more decisions would be made based on kind of, I want to say the economics of science, by which I mean the advantages and disadvantages. You know, really looking into studying things more and doing the things which we know work, rather than things which are politically convenient.
Right.
It feels like a lot of politicians. One of the major things in politics, I think, at the moment is that most countries seem to be in debt, or at least running a deficit, i.e., spending more money than
it seems very acceptable as well, doesn't it? Like,
it does seem
run
very
up this
acceptable,
massive
and the politicians are happy to do it. They're kind of like, well, you know, I am going to get elected based on the fact that I say, okay, we're going to cut taxes, we're going to do these things, we're going to do these things.
Yeah.
These things are just going to have to be paid for in future, and so it's kind of like these companies, these politicians are taking out like credit card loans on our country in order to get elected based on the short-term promises. And do you know what? We often are happy to hold those people responsible. Every new politician that comes into office will say, "Oh, it was the last government who messed everything up. They're to blame."
Yeah.
I
That's what I do.
Oh man, this is getting all serious. But I think it's probably time
to say goodbye once again
and start off the new one with something a bit less
political,
stimulating.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm overly stimulated now, and I'll never get to sleep tonight. So, on that note, have a nice sleep. Brush your teeth, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.